Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready to begin this adventure today. Hold on tight. We'll be getting started here in just a moment. Johan, thank you for the question. We will address that as well. Just getting some last little things ready to go. We'll get all started up. I'm Draftsaur in the chat, by the way, in case you're wondering. Oh man, is my mic picking up my fan? Ha! Welcome and hello everybody to the official Rockfish Games stream. I am your host Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for Rockfish Games. Oh my goodness, how are the audio levels? Are they good? Music good? Vocals good? Want to make sure it's perfect for you guys after all. Because I'm going to be answering a lot of your questions. We're going to be having a lot of conversation today as we give a demonstration of EVERSPACE 2. In fact, we already got a really solid question out of the chat. We are live on YouTube. We're live on Steam. We're live on Twitch. We're watching all those channels. If you drop us a line in any of them, we will do our best to answer. Don't be discouraged if we don't answer it. It's not because we don't like you. It's probably because we missed it. That's just how it rolls. So be vigilant and be patient, and we'll get to you. So Johan asked, before the stream even started, what a champion. Oh my gosh, they said, I have a question towards the space station Kickstarter tier. Or more precisely, how does design your own space station work out? What can we determine? So he is referring to the space station backer tier on Kickstarter because EVERSPACE 2 is live on Kickstarter right now. You can go to bit.ly/KSES2. It's like the easiest thing to remember forever. Otherwise, you can just type in EVERSPACE 2 Kickstarter. It'll pop up right there for you. And I just wanted to clarify this. So basically, the way that we are designing the space stations is kind of, sort of similar to what we've done with the ships. Now, I'm saying kind of sort of there because of how we're using it as building blocks to go forward. Whereas the ships, you're going to have full customization. We saw this last week of matching up different engine parts to different cockpits to different wings. And you're going to have like serious control over how you look aesthetically as you're flying through the vastness of space. Stations! If you're already thinking, oh, we're going to be able to create stations, slow down there, Tiger. Okay, so as developers, we have to make sure that we can create as much content for you guys, meaningful content, varied content. And through the course of our own development and processes that come with it, we have an opportunity for you guys to take the components that we've built behind the scenes and put them together to make your own space station should you back us at the appropriate tier. So there would be a select number of modules at your disposal that you would be able to work with the team and say, this is how I want this base essentially to look, this space station, this stronghold, however you want to call it. You'd put it together and maybe even have a little bit of creative freedom on top of that to design any unique parts or features to that. Creativity abound is pretty remarkable from that point. But we're not going to let it go super crazy, and obviously we're not going to break any rules with licenses and stuff like that. So if you really like, that one Star Wars base, we can't just recreate it, of course. So, yes, excellent. Hopefully that gives you some clarification of what you would be doing with that particular tier. A great question. Very, very good stuff. Already seen another question over on Twitch. I'm going to answer just a couple questions and we're going to dive in because I know that several of you still haven't seen this. A lot of you still haven't seen EVERSPACE 2 in action. So we will definitely make sure that we're getting to it. So Blondie Nina says, I got a question. It's a pretty sad one, but in case of the Kickstarter campaign fails, does it mean the game will be canceled? I think this has been a popular question as of late, simply because we are at 60% funded and we're just a little bit over halfway through the campaign. I can understand why some of you out there are already like concerned about your money and concerned about like how things are going to move forward because you really want this game to happen. Well, rest assured, we really want this game to happen as well. If things were to go south, if Kickstarter wasn't supported and not enough people provided the funding, not saying it's going to happen. In fact, I'm inclined to think that it's not going to. But regardless, if it doesn't, what that means is any tier that you've specifically backed, it's basically wiped clean. So you haven't lost any money. You haven't lost any money, but also that tier and everything that came with it is basically not going to happen. It's just removed from the table, okay? So basically, the game state that we are currently in and what we are developing would stop. We'd have an internal discussion and say, what does our focus need to be on? Where do we need to go with all of our processes, all of those types of things? And then we are going to continue development of EVERSPACE 2 with this new knowledge without that additional funding that you guys would have otherwise provided. So you are out nothing. We just don't have anything to gain through our development process. Regardless of whether the Kickstarter succeeds or fails, we will be opening up an online shop on our website that you would be able to actively participate in. You could buy some stuff from us. You could support us through donations. I'm not sure if you can do donations to us. That's something that Michael would have to clarify. But there would be opportunities to invest in our future so that we would still be able to utilize some sort of funding in order to push EVERSPACE 2 to completion. Because we will. We will, in fact, make EVERSPACE 2 happen regardless of the Kickstarter succeeding or failing. It's just going to be a lot less financial support if the Kickstarter doesn't end up working. But like I said, we're not too worried. You guys don't need to get nervous about it. But the best thing to do right now is to make sure you've told all of your friends, all of your family, your coworkers, all your online social groups about us, why you are so passionate about EVERSPACE 2, what you think is so special about it, and just make sure that everybody knows. The more people who know, the more possibilities that there are for us to design, for us to create, and it's a win-win at that point. So, there you go. Another really great question. Sorry for not following already. You're a giant derp. Dude, it's fine. It's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I love how all the questions are already pouring in. I'm going to go ahead and dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about this. So we'll get back to your questions and like these little segments where I'm going to play like 10 minutes, then I'm going to answer questions, play 10, answer questions. It's going to be gravy, all right? So first things first, we got to start a new game. We're going to get into the controls probably at a later point in time. A lot of this is going to change. The big thing about the controls is that everything that you grew to know about EVERSPACE 1, a lot of individuals gave EVERSPACE 1 a lot of praise over the precision of your controls, how you're navigating, how you're able to maneuver, all of those features. It's basically one-to-one conversion into EVERSPACE 2. We are fully bringing that back, where you are navigating around like a fiend in all things. Just like so, nice and clear, nice and wonderful. It's this one-man fighter that you're going to need to be able to outplay and outclass your opponents with. So here we're just going to fly over here, do a little bit of destruction, and then we'll talk more about this ship that I'm flying, in case you guys don't know about it. I'll pick up some credits, change over to our autocannon, which, very similarly to the Gatling gun in EVERSPACE 1, is very good against hull. Take out some of these guys. No drops, that's fine. We'll pick up one of these, and this is new. This is very new to the game right here. We have added a little feature that allows you to grab and throw different objects. That wasn't a good throw. Don't worry about that. But that grabbing tool is going to be a very powerful feature that's not going to just be for interacting with objects, but also drones and specific internals of enemy ships and a variety of things. You could also throw debris out of the way, which we'll actually get to later. For now, I'm going to go ahead and take the loot that's in here, because I want to show you a little bit about this looting in EVERSPACE too, with this particular ship that we're flying. So we're going to go into our inventory screen. What you see here, this is specific kit designed for the Sentinel, which is the ship that we're currently flying. This is the Sentinel. It looks a little bit different from EVERSPACE 1. Now, I want to make sure you guys are aware that this is because this Sentinel has been customized. It has different engines, different wings, a different cockpit than what was appearing in EVERSPACE 1. But if you want to go to more of that classic look, it's something that you can get and apply to your Sentinel to bring that forward through and through. So here on our elements, we have a pulse laser. This one is a high velocity pulse laser, and this is an autocannon. So the equivalent of a pulse laser from EVERSPACE 1 and a Gatling gun from EVERSPACE 1. You'll see that our stats here are going to have a lot of variety about them as we collect them over time. We have kinetic and energy DPS, which are probably the two most important elements that you want to be watching for your weapons. Kinetic DPS is how much you're doing against hull, and energy is how much you're doing against shields. Kinetic damage also represents how much you're doing to armor of enemies as well, whereas energy really doesn't do well versus armor at all. So you can see that the autocannon's kinetic DPS is much greater, energy is lower, pulse laser, it's just the opposite. And we have all these other attributes that can be modified based on what items you find. As an example of that, we just picked up a couple new items behind that asteroid crack, and we have an energy core that we can replace that not only has better stats, but has this bonus underneath that says 15 repair. Repair is one of 6 different attributes that your player ship will have at full release of the game. Right now, I can't really show you much more about that, just because it's a work in progress. We're developing a lot of features pertaining to attributes and all of those statistics that go with it. But what this does is it's basically increasing our ability to repair in a more timely manner and more efficient nanobots, stuff of that nature, as you would kind of expect the word repair to be. Here we have 6 resistance and 7 firepower, as well as a statistical increase for armor. That's huge. We're going to straight up replace that as well. Now, these modules that I'm replacing here, normally in the full game, you're not really going to be able to cycle them out on the fly like this. You would have to go back to a base, your home base, or any particular station that's in the area to reapply different elements. And the modules you have, they're very different in comparison to EVERSPACE 1, whereas EVERSPACE 1, we had devices. So your shield was a device slot that could also be your EMP generator. I want to just go back here really quick and show you that the EMP generator, if you look in the lower left side, on the other side of the screen over there, number 1, that's our EMP generator that we just fired off. It's not something that's equipped on the ship. It's an inherent ability that this particular ship has. So there will be a number of different classes and subclasses to choose from that will have a mixture of different devices, and you'll also gain new devices over time as you level up, and be able to interchange those specific to that particular class, or subclass, as it will be. So that doesn't hog up any space from your modules like your energy core, your shield, your energy plating, your plating, your sensors, your thrusters, and your cargo unit. All of these things will have unique modifiers on them that can benefit anything else. So lots of opportunities for synergy here. We also passed by our consumables and our secondaries. These are pretty straightforward from what they were from EVERSPACE 1. Secondaries give you a big punch of a weapon, but it's at a loss of a certain number that you can spend, right? Like once you're out of secondaries, you're out, you have to go refill them. Consumables, very similar in that regard. Once you consume them, they are also gone, but they have some really nice benefits, like these nanobots will repair 400 whole hit points in 5 seconds. This is a prototype. I'm probably going to say that several times during the course of the stream. A lot of these figures, a lot of these numbers that you're seeing, game has not been balanced. We've just made it in a playable format to give you a general idea about how things are going to come together. So we might even find a completely broken item or completely broken equipment in the process. Don't you worry about that. We'll get things tweaked and figured out, especially along the ride with you guys through alpha, beta, and early access, all those fun little things. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some of the questions, because I know you guys are just eager to have all of the things answered. I know that Michael has been dropping some knowledge. Thank you so much for that, Michael. For those of you who don't know, Michael is the CEO of Rockfish Games. He's the big man in charge. He is in Twitch, he's in YouTube, answering those questions while I'm showing gameplay. But let's just take this moment to just get through more of those questions, give proper clarification should it be needed. So I already see one, a good one, in fact. This comes from Talon24. Will there be the option to disable the inertia dampeners via command and slide through space? Yes. This was a very hotly requested feature in EVERSPACE 1. In fact, it even made us create an enhancement that allowed you to disable it. But we know that a lot of you space sim enthusiasts and sci-fi enthusiasts out there really want that full control of having a more realistic portrayal of space, so we're giving it to you. Just know that this is not a realistic portrayal of space, and there are lots of things to run into, so be very careful about how you utilize your inertia dampeners. Let's see, other question. Blondie Nina, another question, says, comparison with Diablo or Destiny, things like this game's class level. Let's see. We got a class to level up here. When you level up the ship you are playing, right? So there's a lot in the realm of how leveling progress is going to work. There are levels of items. You'll actually see right underneath the energy core here, it says 03. That means this is a level 3 energy core. Versus like this pulse laser, which is a level 1. So your items will have a level associated with them. Depending on what you're doing and how you're doing it, there might be a way to level up this gear as you're using it. It might be something where we combine items to level those up, but the main source of leveling is going to be this experience bar in the upper right, akin to something like a Destiny or a Diablo. More of Diablo, I would say, in this sense, because that number, as it goes up, that's going to unlock new perks and abilities for you to choose from for your pilot. And through that process, your ships are inherently going to grow better, as well as the items that you're finding out in space, all that sweet loot. So lots of different things that you're going to be able to put together to synergize with, to create those perfect builds that you're really striving to accomplish. So let me see the rest of your statement. Switch whenever you want. Flip them in area level 15 with my main ship level 15 stuff. I decide to switch to another ship. Am I not going to struggle with my new ship? Yeah, so if you have like a level 15 ship versus a level 5 ship, I don't even know if that's going to be possible. I don't think that's something that we desire to be possible because it could lead to a lot of frustration, much like you're speaking to. We'll have to see what development brings us, but I don't think we're going to go that route. Just a hunch. Just call it a hunch. We'll see. All right, let's see any more questions. I am looking over on Twitch at the moment, but YouTube, don't you worry, I'll be checking you out in just a second as well. Did you see my response regarding the icons topic on Kickstarter? It was a while ago. Supreme Void, I did not. Blondie, another question. Oh, you sent that big one again. You sent that twice. My goodness. Okay, so let's go over to YouTube real quick, see if there's anything that we missed. Do you plan any additional advertising to help the Kickstarter over the finish line in time? Michael's responded, we got a few more big beats coming, like a newsletter with prominent EVERSPACE 2 promotion from very big PC gaming brand, going out to millions of subs tomorrow. We have a couple other tricks up our sleeves, if you will, but I mean, the big thing is just hunkering down with our community. You guys are our voice, you guys are our branches, and the more that you reach out, the more effect we really have. So if you want to see a Kickstarter grow, go make your voice heard. Get into the channels that you do online and just tell people about it. Say, hey, have you heard about EVERSPACE 2 Kickstarter? Because that helps so much. It goes such a long ways. So, there you go. Are the stations going to have effects on your gameplay, or is it purely for good looks? Stations going to have effects. So you mean like... I guess I'm not entirely sure what you mean how the stations would have effects. You mean like... I mean, the stations are going to have a lot of different opportunities for buying and selling ships, trading commodities, selling commodities for different trade lanes, if you will. They could have an impact on your reputation status with certain factions in the game, providing certain jobs and opportunities in that sense. It's not going to just be, oh, this station looks blue versus that station looks red over there, and that's the difference. No, there's going to be a pretty substantial difference between what type of stations you're encountering and what they're going to provide. And there will also be strongholds and whatnot that you'll have to destroy as well. So it's not just like, oh, a station, a station, a station. Some are not going to be nice at all, and you'll have to assault them and destroy them, in fact. So lots of different stations like that that will have certain gameplay features to interact with. Let's see. So with the ship designs from last week, all the modules are locked in. Well, not all of them. We still got a lot of room for tweaking around. But are you still adding new ones, like one that looks like Galaxy on Fire to Hatsuyuki Try Nacelle design? So we do not own the IP for Galaxy on Fire. We can't really recreate anything of that nature. We can pay homage to what we've created in the past, however. So we'll have to see and find out. Tri-wing designs are pretty cool, though. There is one tri-wing design that we did show last week pertaining to the, I think it was one of the light fighters. I can't remember which subclass it was, but we'll definitely have a lot of different design options for you to choose from with your wings. Are there secret planets, areas to discover when you fly in areas not pointed on the map? The map! Let's talk about the map for a second. So, the way that we are going to interact with the world of EVERSPACE 2, because now it is an open world RPG. What does that mean? What does that entail? How is that so different from EVERSPACE 1's roguelike formula? Well, EVERSPACE 1's roguelike formula means everything was procedurally generated as you're flying into it. Here, we have a persistent, handcrafted world that you will be interacting with. All of these locations that will be built out, all of these locations, all of these mini locations that will be built out are handcrafted that you'll be traveling back and forth through, and your interactions in those spaces will have a lasting effect because they are persistent. So, to kind of answer that question a little bit deeper, sure, absolutely there will be secrets galore. There will be planets that maybe are somehow hidden in, a space nebula, or tons and tons of areas that you don't see populated until you find a certain mission or a certain secret at a certain location. There's going to be lots and lots of locations here that even after, the vast exploration of the DMZ has concluded, like, there are still secrets. There's still unexplored territories, for sure. So lots of possibilities there. And of course with epic loot, for sure. All right, so just a couple more questions. We're going to dive right back into gameplay. I see. Do you will add most wanted quests from Gnome Sobrinome? So, I mean, I think that there's definitely going to be like bounties and stuff like that. Definitely going to have to take on elite and ace pilots, stuff of that nature. They're out there stalking you or stalking somebody else, and maybe somebody needs to hire a goon to take them out. Maybe you're the goon that's getting hired. So for sure, absolutely, there'll be a wide range of jobs that you can take on, and not just the combat, not just defeat 20 outlaws in this area, or tackle this guy named Tykov Sombrero. What a name. I don't know, just give an example, right? You'll also have different jobs where you might have to go procure a number of minerals from a mine for the GMB, perhaps. Or maybe you need to find a bunch of small arms and take it over to this shady planet that will pay you handsomely, just so happens to have a lot of Okar forces, which are the police of the DMZ, that are swarming around them, and you have to figure out a way to navigate through that. Lots of different jobs, and it's not all just go destroy the stuff at the location. So, very good. Last question, and then I'm going to dive back into some gameplay. If I didn't answer your question, don't worry about it. We will keep answering questions through the course of the stream. You guys are great. Did you ever consider releasing a smaller version of the prototype for everyone to try as promo for the Kickstarter? Asked Supreme Void. That is not something that we really did consider. It's not really on our plate. I think Michael actually just answered it as well. His official response is, giving the demo to too many smaller channels significantly reduces chances that bigger channels pick it up, which is why reach out to streamers in waves. And that's exactly where I was going to go with the conversation, and I'm glad that Michael jumped on top of that. So it's much more exclusive because we are trying to send it in waves, so it's getting a much broader outreach as opposed to anyone and everyone's kind of got their own little thing that they can store up and then it doesn't actually get out there. So that's kind of our strategy and approach to that, if you will. So let's dive back into this area that we've got going on. Equipped a couple new items, and there are a couple mineral deposits here. We're going to have some copper and some iron. This is the basic level of mining right here. You shoot, you loot. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people ask this question, but I want to ask. Hey, Eric, is it possible to have advanced mining features so that it actually feels more meaningful and impactful and maybe even has some sort of skill that rewards you based on what you accomplish? Why, yes, that's a great question. There are possible abilities for us to move into different ways to interact with mining as a whole, so it's not just so arcadey, it's just like you shoot a wall and then that's it. So definitely stay tuned for more information about mining as we move into our next phases of the game. We will be revealing a lot of information every Friday. In fact, we'll have a little bit of new content to show you, much like we did last week whenever we talked about chips. I believe this week's topic is environment, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so be looking for that in 2 days' time. Otherwise, we will slowly be giving you some of those details as we're finalizing those components. So remember that little grapple thing that we had going on? So this is an outlaw bomb thrower, and I'm just destroying it right now, but what we can do is we can grab one of its bombs that it throws at us and just throw it back and watch it explode. Just like that. There's also a missile turret over here, but our grapple isn't quite high enough level to really grab missiles out of space just yet. But I'm sure that's something that would be coming down the line. All right, we're going to take out this Madcap pod, which came out of the Madcap we destroyed. Kind of a new enemy type that can really distract you and put you in a hard place. If you guys notice, when we destroyed him, he dropped a series of mines about him, which made it just a little bit more challenging to stay in the area, and could make it even more difficult had he had the proper backup. Just going to destroy a couple of components of this base. I think I can destroy this. Can't I destroy this? Not destroyable? That's fine. I didn't want to destroy it anyway. Let's see what's on this ship. More credits and a blaster. Let's go ahead and look at this blaster. Beautiful. Very much like the Fusion Blaster, except far more, far less energy consumption. A couple more items and a drone that we have activated. Let's go on back out here. Let's see, what else did we grab? Oh yes, we had these homing missile launchers that have a 20% chance to disable the target's shield for 2 seconds with each hit. That's pretty cool. So a possibility that when that missile hits, it's just going to drop their shields. Nice. So what's this guy over here? This is a shadow creature. There's going to be a number of little mini-games and challenges and critters, of course, that will be around in space for you to assist. So this guy, he wants to find another creature. So you can see all the way over there, there's another critter. We're going to go ahead and fly too far up intentionally. And you'll see that this critter turns white. And the reason he turns white and then leaves is because he doesn't want to be in the light at all. Shadow creature wants to be in the shadows. Who'd have thought? So your challenge here is to take him from one place to another while never leaving the shadows to get to his little buddy. Now this challenge in this area is pretty simple, but there will be other locations, and because they're handcrafted, we can make a very specific path that you would have to follow and be challenged by these little mini games dotted around the DMZ. And it's not just a find a thing, stay in the shadows sort of gameplay. Don't you worry about that. There will be race tracks, there will be various interactables, triggering effects, places to climb through and navigate around, all of those different things. Let's see. I know that there's a power-up somewhere nearby. Oh, it's over here. Let's fly over there. Look at this power-up real quick. This is an ancient damage glyph. This is used very differently than how it was in EVERSPACE 1. Before, if any of you are familiar with EVERSPACE 1, the glyphs were a special enhancement that after you acquired them, you could only plug them into your ship whenever you were back in the hangar. So it would apply itself to the entirety of your run and give you some sort of benefit, but also suffer some type of consequence in its use. An example of this would be the equalizer glyph. And what that does is every time you jump, it sets you to 50% of your hull. The negative side of that is every time you jump, it sets you to 50% of your hull. So you have to think a little bit more strategically and a little bit more careful since you're dealing with half of your life, but it's always replenished every time you jump. Instead, in EVERSPACE 2, now when you find these power-ups, it gives you a bonus for a duration. So I think we ended up destroying all of our enemies, so unfortunately we can't really show how much is going to impact them. But you can hear a very noticeable audio difference with our weapon. Sounds a bit beefier when we're firing it now, and that's because this ancient damage glyph is in fact increasing our damage. So let's go ahead and see what's in here. Ooh. What do we got here? Oh, a jump core. Alright. That's just a commodity that's pretty expensive. We'll make some profit off of that whenever we get to a station. But first I'm going to go back to the side of our home base. We're going to shoot this hole into it, because there's another crack over here. Beautiful. A cargo unit. And some small arms. Excellent. So we're going to take this cargo unit, and you'll notice that we're completely full. So we can't hold anything else, except, just kidding, now we can hold more because we have this cargo unit. The delight about this particular item is that because it is a module, that means it can also have random attributes applied to it. So you can get a cargo unit that will impact your specific combat or maybe even your stealth gameplay based on what it rolls. It's not just, oh, you're going to find a better cargo unit that gives you 11 slots, and then another one that gives you 12 slots. No, it's going to be much more diverse and dynamic than that. Maybe you'd even find a cargo unit that allows you to hide illegal goods, so that when you get scanned by a police officer, they don't even know about it. Maybe there's even more that a cargo unit could do down the line. So let's go ahead and fly back into the base, and we'll check out some more of your questions. Got some more questions pertaining to after the Kickstarter from Supreme Void, which Michael is responding to, which is great. So long story short, Supreme Void's wondering, if we can still reach some of the stretch goals, or if is it more of a transparent ongoing funding for the basic development after the Kickstarter. And Michael responds, says, since the demo is a digital reward on Kickstarter, we won't provide pre-access to any channel with less than 10k subs. That's not a specific answer for that question. So basically the stretch goals, basically after the Kickstarter, whether it's funded or it's not funded, the online store that we'll be providing, that's going to help further any aspect of development. And it could be something that maybe was something we wanted to drive forwards to as a stretch goal, and we just decide, you know what, we want to make it happen. But there's not going to be that flexibility from the Kickstarter specifically saying that this will happen. Instead, it's going to be on us, and it's not a promise at that point. But the more funding, the more likely stuff like that would, essentially happen. But again, it's just going to help further fund overarching development as opposed to specific elements of development. Excellent. I have never seen this game before, and it looks fun. Actually kind of interested in it now. Can you get bigger or custom ships? So we actually showed last Friday that we have modular approach to the ships. So here I'm just going to show you an example where you can actually customize different parts of the ship, the wings, the cockpit, the engines. All of these are things that you'll be able to change and modify based on what you unlock in the game, but also based on what class and subclass you're out there flying with. So you're going to have a lot of accessibility options to customize and aesthetic options to make your ship just look amazing to your heart's content based on the size it is. The sizes specifically, you'll be flying only single-man fighters, but the size range is something to that effect of like an A-wing all the way up to a Millennium Falcon in the Star Wars universe. So really small light fighter to decently bulky heavy fighters, but nothing after that approach. Like, we don't want to make this some sort of freighter simulator. We don't want to make this some sort of warship control game. Like, we want you to have a very fast-paced approach to your interactions in combat, and in order to do that, we need you to have an agile ship. So that is the way why we are designing the range of the ships in that capacity as a single-man fighter. So that is a really good question. I do also encourage you to see the second vlog that we posted on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/rockfishgames, all one word. Check out that vlog. I think that you will be pleased with what you see. So that's good. Is it possible we could see some possible permanent cosmetic damage to our ships as we experience some blows that we would have died from, but after repairs they just don't buff that part out, so some cosmetic scarring? That sounds like it would have been a stretch goal. That would be really, really challenging to implement if we, just depending on where our focus is in development as a whole. Like, we care much more about making meaningful content that you're able to engage with, having a lot of stuff to do, that variety within the gameplay as well. That aesthetic damage, while very cool, don't get me wrong, that would be awesome to be able to do. That's just not as important as more variety of weapons, for example. So, could it happen? It could. It's possible, but I can't guarantee anything at this point. So, there's your answer. A good question, though. A good question. Let's see. Any more questions at the moment? Looks like that's going to be good for the moment. I would love legendary unique ships that are more late game big rewards. Well, we even want to make sure that late game rewards, they don't break the game, because if they did, then it's kind of pointless to keep playing, because then you have the best weapon or ship or whatever, and you don't have to find anything anymore. Instead, what we were really shooting for is to have a lot of variety in a late game situation, where if you want to play in a very stealthy, a very espionage sort of way with long-range weapons and cloaking, and a very powerful grapple that allows you to rip HUDs off of ships, fly into their internals and destroy them in that capacity, you can go that route. Or if you wanted to build a ship that's very heavy and it's just fully loaded with guns, missiles, cannons galore, and you don't even care if a ship knows you're approaching it. You just barrage it from like even close up. You just freaking annihilate it with just so much firepower. You could go that way as well, or you could find in between options where you're going to have like ways to scramble enemy fighters' signals, or whatever. Lots of different directions that you can take it. It doesn't mean that one option is better than another. Instead, we want to build it to where all of these different options are viable. All of these different options are ways that you can enjoy the gameplay with to your leisure without knowing, oh well, it's not the most effective way to play. We don't want to do that. We don't really want to adhere to that type of mentality. The focus is very much on variety. So we're more than likely going to avoid this is the best weapon in a game situation, or this is the best ship in the game situation. There you go. That's a good question, though. It's a good question. How about cosmetics of upgrades, asked Talon24. In EVERSPACE 1, when you upgraded the ship, they had that optical modification for either. Is it possible to unapply the cosmetics of those? Talon24, we absolutely want to make sure that you can choose exactly the look and style of your ship. This also means that even though in like last Friday we talked about ship modules having both an aesthetic and also a statistical representation bound to each one of them, there will very likely be cosmetic options to apply elements of your ship to appear like maybe it was a lower tier or a different style or whatever, but retain the stats of something else that you enjoyed. So you get the best of both worlds. You look how you want and have the stats that you want in the game space. So, good stuff. All right. Let's dive right back in. Oh my gosh, I actually got to answer this last question. Will there be an option to make my ship look like a piece of junk? You can probably try. I'm sure that there will be some way that somebody inevitably makes something that doesn't look as good as it possibly could be. But our lead designer, who's been handcrafting all of these ship modules, Matthias, he is so good at what he does. I'm going to be surprised if somebody can make a bad-looking ship. Because seriously, everything that comes out of that man is just gorgeous. So, by all means, you can try. By all means. All right, let's go ahead and change our ship and fly something else. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this stuff and we are going to apply it to our other ship because we want to take it with us. So we're going to move these two items. Actually, let's just go ahead and let's just move everything. You can keep those missiles, that's fine. So we're going to cycle to another ship. Let's go to the Interceptor. I'm a big fan of the Interceptor. Whoops, there we go. And we're going to just apply these elements to it. And you know what? We're also going to just move all this stuff back over to this ship now. And I'm doing this because I want to show you some trading options and building credits that are going to help down the line. So we just moved some stuff around. Now our Sentinel is basically back to normal, plus it has this homing missile launcher, and our Interceptor now has all the other stuff that we found. So let's go ahead and launch this one. And you'll see that we have some new abilities in the lower left. The Interceptor has a little bit better maneuverability, just a touch, which again, a lot of these features and elements are going to be balanced so that there will be a lot of variety between which subclass of ships that you're choosing as well as the classes themselves. And it has weapon overdrive, which when we enable, your weapons are going to be dishing out way more damage. And we have Energized Boost, which when activated, you are going to throw yourself forward very quickly. Very useful in the heat of combat in order to escape, since it also drains your shields. And finally, Teleport, which allows you to just straight up jump forwards a distance several times in order to disengage. So let's go ahead and find a situation where these elements would be a little bit more useful. And fly out into open space. So this is where the game becomes open world. You'll see that I am in full control of traveling. That planet's getting a lot smaller behind us. I can fly to the left, I can fly to the right, I can go down, I can go up, wherever I really want to go. But I want to go over to this star. And you'll see, you'll see right now we are right here in space. We've moved away from the planet. We can keep going wherever we wanted to go, really. But various signals, anomaly signals will pop up. Maybe something that's hidden might appear as we're flying through. We might get interdicted by enemies who are trying to pull us out of warp and steal all of our stuff. There's a lot of different things that can happen as you're floating about. So if you're a completionist especially, it's good to keep your eyes peeled and look around for what your opportunities are. If you don't care about any of that, you can also lock on to a location. It'll just take you there immediately. Or rather, send you directly in a line towards it. You can also hold the R button down, which will skip this transportation process completely. Now, I'm not going to do that because I want to see if an unknown signal appears. Perfect. So instead, we're going to go to this unknown signal, which is right in front of us. Let's see what's going on here. So it looks like this freighter is under attack. We're just going to go ahead and help them out. We'll use this stronger coil gun. Unfortunately, it takes more energy away from us, which is the white bar on the left side, by the way. These bars, by the way, in the middle, this is only temporary for the moment. We're refining and tweaking and making sure that it's the best, clearest information that's going to provide you with the knowledge of your engines, which is cyan on the left, your ammo, which is white on the left, your hull, which is red on the right, your armor, which is orange on the right, and your shields, which is blue on the right. So we saved these guys. They gave us a little reward. We could probably explore some of the debris around here. Maybe there's some more stuff to loot. It's possible. Or there's nothing. But we'll just keep going. So we're going to keep flying towards the sun. And now we're getting interdicted. So we just have to follow this cursor in order to get out of things. Escape successful. Let's just fly on home. Perfect. Wait, no, 19 minutes of quantum travel? I mean, it's probably possible, Korator, in certain areas, but our mentality at Rockfish Games is that we want you to be able to play a game instead of wait to play a game. So, pretty simple. Alright, now we're here at this star. Let's fly over here because I'm pretty sure there's some scientists who are doing some research on the star. They want us to be a little guinea pig and activate some elements for them. So we're going to pause right here. Listen in on their story. I'm going to check and see what other questions you guys have been asking. It should cost extra fuel to quick jump, don't you think? Probably. Hitting bongs. Yeah, we'll probably have a lot of different ways that we'll experiment with fuel. We don't want to make it too taxing, too tedious for a player, because again, we're an arcadey space shooter with loot. If we were to add a fuel system, that would be kind of like where you'd have to manage fuel in Destiny 2, for example, right now, where you'd have to put fuel into your ship before you could travel from one planet to another after a bounty that you would be wanting to go to. So if you find that interesting, if you think that would be a mechanic that you would like to see, then by all means I would push for it. But otherwise, I don't think that we at Rockfish are very interested in having to maintain fuel in that sense. We just want to get to the core of the game and blow stuff up, you know? So, but we'll see what the community thinks. If you all want more types of fuel systems and have to manage that, I mean, it's something that we can look into, but I don't think inherently we want to do that. Let's look in this hole and see what's here. Oh! Nice. An autocannon and a shield. Oh, a shield that we can't hold because we are full on stuff. Oh, we should have took that cargo unit. The Shield XC, I mean, the capacity is a lot lower, but the recharge duration is a lot faster. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. And also this rare autocannon. My goodness. 10% chance to regenerate 20% of whole hit points with each kill. 10% experience per kill. Damage is increased by 10% every second. Fire is held down up to a maximum of 100. Wow. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Let's go ahead and replace the coil gun with that one. And then let's head over to this base because we have a lot of stuff that we want to drop off. Up. Too close to this enemy. Let's go ahead and use this new autocannon we found. With weapon overdrive. So its damage will increase the longer we hold it down. Oh my gosh. That damage output is actually kind of awesome. I think I just found my favorite attribute in the game. This is wonderful. And we got a legendary item drop. We'll have to come back and pick that up if we can. Does look like it clipped inside of an asteroid. Prototypes, man. It's rough sometimes. But first, let's trade. Let's show what a station's all about and answer some more of your questions because I'm sure you guys are poking. I'm sure you guys are prodding. All right. So here at this particular base, we have some elements that we can purchase. Ooh, even more nanobots? Yeah, I'll gladly take those. We'll just buy... Wait, we need to buy one more. Okay, that's fine. We're just going to ignore that for now. Alright, let's go ahead and sell a lot of this stuff. Maybe we can't buy it because it doesn't have a slot. Okay, yeah. There we go. Just going to sell most of this stuff. Because we don't need any of it anymore. Perfect. Is there anything else we can buy that's better than what we have? We could buy some liquor. There's not really too much of a need for that at the moment. So, cool. We just made a lot of space. Which is really what we need right now. And we also have a lot of credits in the process. Perfect. Also through bases, there's more management that you could perform on your ship. Maybe tweaking and customizing that more to your liking based on what services that station's going to provide. You'll also have various missions that you can take on in the form of jobs and also side missions and quests of that nature based on the patrons and the faction of the particular station that you are staying at. All right. Let's just check out a couple more questions. Oh, man, that felt good. Is there a cockpit view? There will be. It's not currently developed, but it is in the work. I implore you to watch the vlog number 2 on the Rockfish Games YouTube channel. We actually have a slight demonstration of a different cockpit views that you customize the appearance of. So definitely check that out. It's very much in a block format, so it's not built out and it's not fully fleshed out yet. But if you want a sneak peek about what that's going to be like, definitely check it out. Lots of different cockpits that you're going to be able to customize to your liking. Let's see, what else? Will you have zones and biomes? I've been on a big Noita kick lately, and I keep dying in certain areas, but I think that's pretty cool from a gameplay perspective. All right, so I know that there are going to be a lot of different areas that have different attributes associated with them. So, for example, like this particular sun, you know, everything's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, cut and dry, right? Whereas, you know, you go to this star, this sector right here, things could be a little bit different. There could be a lot more nebula. There could be a lot more various cosmic anomalies and hazards that you have to deal with. There could be different features. Just being in this area is going to impact your gameplay with. There's a lot of different things that could change and be shaped just from a straightforward standpoint of where you're at and what you're doing. And it's also more than possible, and I wish we had this overlay. It's not available in the demo, but we also have it to where there are certain areas in this space that you see right behind me. Like if you're looking at this, just think about like this entire upper right quadrant just being owned by GMB, for example. Like let's just call that entire section owned by GMB. And because of that, there might be certain factions that are contesting different stations in there that you're going to have to deal with, that you're going to have to figure out ways to go around it. And based on the GMB owning that site, it's going to change the jobs that are available to you. So not exactly, I wouldn't necessarily call it like a biome, if you will. I would call them more like zones, and how those zones are going to change how your persistent progress with our open world setting is going to change, and how that's going to get better or more challenging for you in the process. So that's a pretty good question. Pretty good question. Let's see what else we got. I want to see a swamp biome. Oh my goodness. Cade. A nebula that turned muddy after a dirty comet melted into it. Oh my gosh, you are silly. Is there a nuke launcher or some sort of ridiculous oversized weapon that annihilates things? We had the Arc 9000, which was a staple of a secondary weapon in EVERSPACE 1. I am sure, I am positive that we will be returning with something that's precisely over the top, but also rather expensive to obtain and to utilize effectively in EVERSPACE 2. It will very likely come in the form of a consumable option, meaning either as a missile or an actual literal consumable, so that you can't spam it and just defeat everything instantly. Let's see, what else we got? Will different areas affect your weapon systems and defensive systems as well? It's possible. We'll have to see what development shows us and what is available to us through the course of the Kickstarter, as well as the rest of our development cycle as a whole. Next gen plans. Michael has answered that one. Grim Reaper Sage. Essentially, the next generation plans. We are super excited about both next gen consoles that have been revealed at this point in time, but we really can't comment on anything at the moment without shooting ourselves in the foot. Pretty cut and dry. So we still have 2 years of development. A lot can change, a lot can happen in that time frame. When we know something, we'll let you know. Is that fair? I feel like that's the best way to go about it. See what else we got. Totally getting this game. It looks like basically everything so far has been improved and so much more content has been added. I mean, this is a very different game than the EVERSPACE 1 experience because it's no longer a roguelike and instead it's open world RPG. But yeah, it has a lot more content that will be in it. As of right now, this prototype, this is about 5% of all of the content they would see in the game. I wouldn't even call it 5%. I mean, you only get to see 4 locations out of, each one of these sites is going to have like about 10 handcrafted locations. So if we kept that in mind, that's 80 handcrafted locations. That's 80 handcrafted locations if we were to flush all of this out, okay? And then in addition to that, that's not even addressing all of the different items that are on board the ship, right? Because you're only seeing a couple of primaries, a couple of secondaries, a couple of consumables, and a couple of modules. All of that is going to be expanded considerably. So many more modifiers will be added, so many more legendary items and equipment. In fact, there was one floating out in space. We should see if we can go grab that or if it's stuck in that asteroid. Lots of different ways that you're going to customize your ship, lots of different perks and abilities for your pilot as you're leveling up. I mean, and then there's only just a sliver of enemy types that you're seeing here as well, which we will talk more about enemy types that you'll be encountering very soon. I wonder if I can clip through this somehow. I really want that legendary. It's very unfortunate that it snuck into the asteroid. Sometimes when you've got a prototype, things don't go according to plan. But rest assured, we got plenty of time to fix the kinks that you might see during this stream. So don't you worry about that. Alright, we're going to take some Vardum Crystal. And then we're going to fly over to these nodes where the scientist has asked us to enable these solar panels to do studies on the star. So right here, we'll fly up to it, turn the solar panel to get as much light as possible. Even though, if we're looking at this from a realistic perspective, that's getting so much light it's kind of ridiculous. But I digress. It's a video game, and damn it, it's fun when you're challenged to go out and do stuff. So we're going to enable this solar panel as well, and we're also going to take a real quick look over here at this uphill slope. And this is going to give you an example of some other mini games that you can challenge yourself with. In particular, a race. We missed that ring, dang it. Now this is a very, very, very rudimentary example of a maneuverability challenge that you would have. But maybe you would have more challenges like this with other computer AIs. Maybe it's an actual like race to the finish where you have to beat everybody else out, and based on your score you could unlock a certain power or ability or item in particular. So lots of little things to keep you engaged should you go exploring and finding them. Alright, let's navigate around this really chunky asteroid. Look at this guy. I think we got one more. Yes. On the other side here. Perfect. Now we have to be careful because there's this little field of what looks like not so great stuff is going on. Perfect. So we've enabled this last solar panel, and now our guy is going to chat with the scientist real quick. It's probably hard to read that. There we go. So the scientist is basically saying, oh, thanks for your research, but this sun is crap and we've already left. And so you're like, what about my money? And he's like, well, we'll pay you what we give test subjects, so here's 80 credits. Ka-chink. Huh. I wish I could find them again to confront them about this really shady thing that they ripped me off from. That would be great. But more on that in the future. Let's see what else. We have a lot of room to keep adding contents to our ship, so we'll fight a couple more guys here, and then we'll go exploring to our next site. We will take a very brief break here just to talk about the goings-on this week at Rockfish. Anything that you may have missed. Nothing too much since Friday. There was just one Kickstarter update, for example. But we'll address it anyway, just because we can. Man, I'm really digging this autocannon and its ability. That's pretty nice. Kind of broken, but it's pleasantly broken. Alright. Let's go ahead and start flying to our next destination. All the way over there. We're just going to hold R so that, like, if you're impatient, you don't want to wait around. Well, now we have to deal with this interception, but if you just want to get to where you're going, you can absolutely just go. So let me just deal with this real quick. So I'm just going to hold the R button and say, screw it, I don't want to take traveling time. Boom, I'm there. Done and done. Look, the planet's right there. We're all the way over here now. Excellent. So we are going to just take a brief break here. We're going to look at some of your questions. Hey, want to race? Then you get mad, and when you lose, you blow them up. I mean, maybe it's possible. Get some outlaws, but that could make them really upset with you to never race again. At least for a time. Is the scientist going to have a full name? Oh man, so many things that you're seeing in this development build are placeholders. So many things. And not just names, but also like weapons and equipment and even these images. These are potentially placeholders as well. There's going to be a lot, so much more. Like, it's kind of absurd how much more is still coming. Like, even the UI is getting tweaked and refined through this process. There's just so much. There's so much, it's actually kind of ridiculous. So I think that the best way to look at the game right now is that seeing the foundation of your ship movement and collecting loot and doing missions in an open space, all those things are pretty much locked in those aren't going to change. But the things that could change is like what a very specific stat is for the pulse laser, or this very specific graphic for the homing missile launcher, or the detail, the description of the advanced AI controller. Like these things can very easily change over the course of development. Even the names here, like the star could change its name. These locations will change their names. Maybe even like the distances and colors of these stars could change. Like there's a lot that could still be flexible here. Oh yeah, that bot is a liar. That Nightbot is a liar. Is Will in the stream? I do not have access to change that bot, Michael. So we might have to get get Will to sneak in and update that. Will there be a way to upgrade weapons modules to current level? Yo, man, that is a great question. I would personally love to see that as well. So based on community feedback through the course of development, we'll be able to implement so much more. I think that I'm going to be pushing that idea towards the team as much as possible. I think that in general, especially in games where you're collecting loot, it's not very satisfying when you collect items that are under your level. Essentially, they're underpowered, and there's nothing you can do with them, right? So we absolutely don't want that to happen to you. Worst case scenario, we would like to take something that isn't desirable and change it into something that is, right? Whether that means like combine two pulse lasers and taking, the worst attribute of the better one and making it a little bit better based on the other pulse laser you combine to it. Maybe it's about breaking it down into components where you can craft something new. There's a lot up in the air right now with what that could potentially look like. So I'm not giving you examples of how it's going to be, but rather giving you examples that we are considering, that we're looking forwards, because we want to make sure that the loot is meaningful, it's impactful, and it's fun. Because nobody likes getting loot that sucks. So great question. Great question. Are you confident in the Kickstarter campaign? Tungsten asks. Personally, I am. Based on what we asked for in EVERSPACE 1 and what we accomplished there, and how much more we're doing with EVERSPACE 2, oh my gosh. Like, we're not... Like, if you do the comparison, like, if you guys go back and look at EVERSPACE 1's Kickstarter and how much we asked for and how much we received versus how much we are shooting for with EVERSPACE 2, there is no reason we shouldn't hit our goal. That's just my personal opinion. So a lot of how things are going to shape and change for the rest of the duration of this Kickstarter is really going to be on you guys. Like, we need the support. We need to really drive this forward and show everybody what we are accomplishing. And if you are passionate about this game, you got to let people know. We're doing our best to reach out to our network and make sure that we are utilizing, powerful marketing tools, all of that type of stuff, to let people see the content. This is why we're doing these streams, in fact, so we can answer questions, provide gameplay. We can direct any concerns and put them out on the table so that we can flush those out, right? Like, this is so important to us. And if you are really passionate about it, you gotta go spread the word as well. We'll do our part, I guarantee it. But you gotta pick up that pace. I mean, it's this entire process of a Kickstarter, this is you putting your money where your mouth is. You're investing in us. And if you truly want to invest in that, then you gotta spread the word. You gotta spread the word. So get out there, tell everybody. Yo, man, thanks for the answer. You're welcome, sir. It's a great question. It's a great question. Kickstarter is picking up speed again as well. Oh, absolutely, and it will. It will. Yeah, and for any of you out there who are worried, change that worry into action. That's the best thing to do, because there's oh, now we're going into like public services style mode, like self-motivation right here. Okay, like, never be worried. Worrying is a waste of time. It does nothing for you. Okay, don't worry. Instead, if you start feeling like you want something to be something more, if you like have a drive because you desire it, instead of sitting back, take action. Go do. Go B. Like, that's what you need to do. Okay, there's my self-motivation stuff for today. Let's get back into this game experience, okay? All right. So we're going to fly over to this trading outpost. We're going to take on another mission. This time, it's going to be, maybe a little bit more straightforward, we think. We'll see what happens. But for now, there's just a couple more items that we've looted that we want to sell. Alright, here we are, nice and simple. And this manager is looking for a cheap mechanic. Because apparently there's a leak. Whoop! There's a leak! We have to take care of it. Moonboon's World over at EGX says, I played the demo today and I got the impression that the Interceptor in EVERSPACE 2 feels quite different from the ship version in EVERSPACE 1. How much did you alter the ship's movement control in space? I thought it was a bit slower and felt heavy compared to EVERSPACE 1. So something to keep in mind, Moonboon's World, is that the state of the demo that you played, the Interceptor is at level 1, okay? So if you compared that level 1 with the very beginnings of the Interceptor and EVERSPACE 1, they're actually almost identical. The difference is going to be as you're developing, as you're growing in levels, as you're acquiring new loot and new abilities, new powers, new features, and new challenges. Obviously, you're going to increase a lot of your independent stats on those ships that you're using. So if you're capitalizing on the Interceptor, much like you did in EVERSPACE 1, you're going to buy the perks that are going to develop your speed and your movement a little bit more, right? In EVERSPACE 1, those permanent perks. And EVERSPACE 2, that's going to be much more according to the equipment that you're using and the perks that you're applying as you level up. And those are going to make the Interceptor much greater in EVERSPACE 2 than it could ever possibly imagine in EVERSPACE 1. So definitely look forward to how all those interactions are going to shape and change your experience to not just make it equal to, but also make it greater than. Great question. Let's go ahead and sell this advanced AI controller, Vardum crystal shards, and copper. And let's see if there's a whole lot of nothing. Nope. Whole lot of nothing. We don't want to buy anything here. But we are going to fix this leak. Let's fix this leak. A nice simple leak. Beautiful. And now we have a madcap that's attacking us. Ooh, those mines. Looks like he was taken out, though, by all the GMB in the area, because there are tons of them. So basically, this manager is now telling me that there's a bunch of madcaps in the area that basically steal their bandwidth from the station. But he's not really too worried about them. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to address them. I'll take care of them. It'll be great. It'll be super great. They're just hogging bandwidth, but you know what? We'll murder them. Rest assured, we are looking to refine and optimize the various missions that are in EVERSPACE 2 to keep things fresh and original. Alright. Also, there might be a... I want to just grab one of these things. Oh, yes, here we go. Some of these interactables, like, I could actually pull this freight and, like, pick it up, take it away from the base. Maybe throw it at an opponent or something. A lot of different ways that you'll be able to use that grapple mechanic. Let's take this guy out. Beautiful. One down. Nanofiber's perfect. Take out this outlaw madcap over here now. Hogging the bandwidth. Well, will you have reoccurring NPCs out in space, sort of like how you had them in EVERSPACE 1? I really love that question. Oh my gosh, I love that question so much. And the answer is very likely. Very, very likely. In addition to many more characters that you will find and meet who won't just be out there waiting for you, but will rather join up with you. I'm referring to the characters known as companions, which we've revealed a little bit of information about, but still largely shrouded in mystery. Rest assured, there will be the right time to talk fully about companions and your interactions with them and why they would join up with you or not. And all of the in-betweens, so you have more ideas of how things come together, not only with the gameplay experience, but also with the story of EVERSPACE 2. Let's get this leak over here. Boom. I think that's all of them. Oh my gosh. No, it's one more, and we're a terrible flyer in space. Thankfully, we have all this armor, though. Boom. Perfect. So this guy, we tell him that we want 1.2k credits to cover all the work that we've done, and the manager pays it. So that's nice. So this was a way more effective mission than the scientists that we'll still likely find and deal with in the future. So let's go ahead and sell some more stuff that we don't need. And let's go look at this. Well, we got a couple different things we can look at. You guys want me to go over to the jump gate or follow this drone first? I'm going to let you guys decide. In the meantime, I'm going to check out any more questions. I loved EVERSPACE 1 so much that I had to support them big time in Kickstarter. I did go for the $500 tier to get my favorite ship into the game. Oh my gosh, Supreme Boy, thank you so much for your support. Seriously, it's really appreciated. You're awesome. You give us life so that we can do as much as possible. What happens if the Kickstarter goal isn't met? And somebody said, very good question. Well, you know, this question has been asked a lot, so let me just kind of go through this and make sure that you guys have an understanding of what that looks like and where that takes us in the future. So, basically, we're a little past the halfway point, and we're 60% funded as of right now. And so a lot of people are, you know, getting a little bit worried out there, getting a little concerned, like, well, does this mean I lose my money? Is EVERSPACE 2 not going to be completed? So let's just cover the whole gambit real quick. Make sure that you guys understand how this all works. First, if you are a supporter at any tier, whether you supported a single dollar or you are the big boss guy himself, which is almost 10,000 American dollars, you are not going to lose a dime because we haven't taken any of that funding yet. Instead, what will happen is when the Kickstarter concludes, that last day, the timer's going to run out, boom, it's either going to say we've reached that goal or we haven't reached that goal. If we have, at that point in time, at the conclusion of the Kickstarter, the funds will transfer from you to us so that we can begin implementing all of that sweet content that you've given the support for us to create. If it has not reached that, it means all of the funding is completely canceled, nothing goes through, and all of those things that we really wanted to craft likely won't be done, but we will still be creating EVERSPACE 2. You don't get funded, like you're not going to spend any money. We just don't make anything. And we're going to have to figure out how we can financially support ourselves in order to push ourselves forward, because we're not backing down at this point. Like, we really want to make this game. It's just going to be a lot trickier, a lot harder if we didn't have that financial backing to support us, of course. It also means that it's going to be a lot more challenging to implement all of those wonderful things from our community. The community feedback is so integral to the experience. It's what made EVERSPACE 1 so much better. And if we lose that connection because the Kickstarter doesn't go through, we're still going to find a way to make that work. It's just not going to be in the format of all of those different tiers that you otherwise would have purchased into. Rest assured, we are opening up a storefront after the Kickstarter, whether it succeeds or fails. And that storefront on our homepage is an online shop. There will be a means to support our endeavors through purchasable goods, as well as, I think, donations. I think. Michael, please clarify that. I'm really not sure if we're going to have a donate option on our homepage or not. But essentially, we're going to be able to receive additional funding through that. It's not going to be to the crazy tiers and stretch goals that we otherwise would accomplish through the Kickstarter, but it will be stuff to keep us going, to make sure that we can still add more content to the experience, so it's not going to just be like that base level line of it's a game and you can play it. So hopefully that covers the full gambit of what happens with the Kickstarter if it succeeds or fails. But I'm not worried. Like, I'm really not worried. And if you guys are worried, again, take action. Tell everybody you know. Let your passion shine through. Tell people about this game. We've got a lot of ways that we're going to be doing that, and we'll be diving in soon. I see some people saying you've backed. Thank you for your support. Sincerely. Like, it helps so much. And I hope that you will join us through the course of the development process in order to create a fantastic game. Because that's what the Kickstarter is. I heard somebody say the other day, they were like, oh yeah, no, I don't support pre-orders, so I'm not going to do the Kickstarter. So, real quick, just want to talk about this statement. A Kickstarter is not a pre-order. All right? I'm going to say that again. A Kickstarter is not a pre-order, okay? A pre-order means that you are getting a game that has already been basically fleshed out and you're getting like some sort of bonus thing because you bought it early, okay? A Kickstarter is an investment so that you can lay down your mark on a game's creation. It's you actively joining and participating in a community to create a product. It's you who are supplying your funding and you who are putting your money where your mouth is to make something great. It's working together with you. It's not, oh, you get a little prize for buying our game. It's you get to help make the game. That's a very big difference between a pre-order and a crowdfunding through Kickstarter, okay? Very big. I want to make sure that you're all very aware of that. So thank you for any and all support that you do provide through the Kickstarter, because you guys are making it possible to make this not just a good game, but a great game. So thank you. Excellent. We're going to go after this drone. Whew! Let's go after this drone. Corator, oh my gosh, you crazy. Oh, we got Weber drones. Ouch. Okay, so going after this drone maybe wasn't the best idea. We're going to take out some of these bad guys first. Let's use our autocannon. Whew. Oh, we have an outlaw bomber. That's probably why things have gone south for us. These guys have made a healthy return, but they are a bit badder, a bit more damaging. But this autocannon, oh my gosh. That is a boss killer weapon right here. Just increasing its damage over and over and over. Nice. So we're going to go after this broken drone now. And I'm pretty sure that because of the damage output of this weapon, we're going to easily take it out before it gets to its destination. Perfect. But we also want to go to where it was going to go, because there's a little secret. Normally this thing would fly away, and then it would open up the site that's over here somewhere. Here it is. Let's hopefully not kill ourselves. Move this out of the way a little bit. Just get out of here. Perfect. And destroy a bunch of drones. Now we got 2 good missile hits in there, so that kept things nice and tidy. And we got a couple of items in that process. So let's see what we collected really quick. We got a scatter gun with plus 10 experience per kill, and it's just straight better than what we had before. And a blaster. You know, it's actually pretty good. We're going to go ahead and replace our pulse laser with it. I also wanted to show one more thing pertaining to the scattergun in particular. There's going to be a bit of customization with the effects of weapons as well. So this scattergun that we just picked up, if you can tell, it shoots the color green out every time it's fired. the color of your weapon is just one modifier of many. Oh my gosh, this other scattergun's green as well. Oh my gosh, terrible example. But hopefully you understand that the way that the weapon looks as it fires, that's also something that's going to be different based on, like, its rarity. You could find a legendary weapon, for example, that has, like, some sort of shock sort of effect to it and, like, ripples through multiple enemies that you fire at. It's crazy, right? Crazy particle effects. We can do so much more with particle effects this time around. So many more tools, so many more abilities. Let's go ahead and open up that container. Credits and liquor. Perfect! Alright. Let's fly over to this place, and then we are going to cut over, answer more questions, and have some conversation about what's been going on at Rockfish Games. Outlaw Destroyer. So this is a bigger boy that whenever you drain their armor, they actually open up, and you can fire at their internals like this and really punish them for that. So weak points are going to be a pretty big feature on larger ships that you're engaged with. This guy, I mean, he's dead now, but he's not really that much larger of a ship. There's going to be a lot of variety of enemies that you're going to have to face, as well as stations and strongholds that you'll have to figure out ways around and overcome. That guy is pretty simple with this. I mean, look at this auto cannon we found. Damage is increased by 10% every second that your fire is held down, okay? So this weapon is kind of bonkers. Andy, if you're watching, we need to fix this immediately. Maybe change that to 1% every second, but I digress. Alright, let's go to this trading outpost, sell some more stuff. Oh, we could actually put those missiles there, which now is a really great time to show you this little button right here. If you see that in the upper right corner, that means we traded it. So we can actually trade it back at no loss of credits. So if you're like really fast and you just sell everything, you're like, oh crap, I didn't mean to sell that. It's fine. Just go buy back, and you've lost nothing. You've lost nothing. Perfect. Oops. Alright, we're going to head over to the last location. We're going to destroy a base, and we're going to have a little chat. It'll be good. Jump right on over. Big ships. Big ships. Yes. Will you have extremely big ships to fight? Yes. Yes. Let's go find this guy. I think he's over here. Yes, he's right there. We're going to pick him up and take him to this base. Another little feature of the grapple. We can grab escape pods and help people out. Perfect. Only this system is available to explore now. Would love to see other systems gameplay. Oh yeah, I think that we would love other systems gameplay as well, but we have to develop it first. So I want to put emphasis on how this is very much a prototype of what EVERSPACE 2 is as of right now. And our development cycle ahead of us, we have alpha, beta, and early access all next year, with the full release coming out in 2021. So if we had all of these various locations fleshed out now, I would be a little concerned about why it would take us 2 more years of development. But yeah, rest assured, we'll show you more content through the course of development. You'll get to see all the little goodies and secrets along the way. Though there will be certain elements that we are actively withholding. We don't want to reveal, like, spoilers to story elements, of course, right? So while you're along for the ride, you'll get access to just about everything, but I mean, respectfully, and I'm sure you understand, there's going to be some stuff that we simply do not reveal. We actually have a really strong story coming into the picture with EVERSPACE 2. I don't know how many of you guys know Joshua Rubin, but he's kind of a big deal. Done some really great writing for Game of Thrones, Destiny, some other games, maybe Assassin's Creed in there. I can't remember. But yeah, he's helping us out. We also have a really brilliant mission designer on the team, Kevin Mintz. He's actually in the vlog for was it the vlog or the Kickstarter video itself? It might be the Kickstarter video itself. Kevin Mintz, really brilliant mind, making sure that the content that you're encountering is impactful, doesn't just feel redundant and boring. We've got a lot of really strong members on the team working with us, through us, to do as much as possible. We're going to sell this earth wine, helping him out. We could go in here. There's just a little mine here. We've probably seen this already from the trailer. Let's collect all this stuff. Mmm, delicious. And now we need to get out of here. Oh gosh. I disoriented myself. Follow the light. Perfect. Lots of little nooks and crannies and secrets galore to find. And now let's go destroy this base. Oh, actually, before we destroy the base, let's heal. Our hull points, or rather our armor points, have taken a little bit of damage, and we've also used a couple missiles. So right now, and granted it's really cheap, it's not balanced, we can go ahead and refill and repair so that we're all the way back up, ready to engage. A booster upgrade that says boosting whenever you speed up would be good too. Boosting. Oh my gosh. See, I think that it would be interesting to see how playful we can implement elements into EVERSPACE 2. We also want to be very careful about our selection. We don't want to get like too crazy or silly with the game, right? We take this development process very seriously, but of course we also want to have fun. I am sure that we're going to have fun with some of the things you will see. I guarantee it. Alright, let's destroy. Destroy everything with this super powerful weapon. Oh my gosh. The damage output is real. Oh, we could have even used our weapon overdrive to make it even crazier. We'll do that in a second. Oh my gosh. I mean, keep in mind, this weapon is terrible against shields, and we just plowed through that guy's shield. Oh my goodness. This is probably the best combination we've ever gotten on stream thus far for a weapon property. No, I take it back. This is the best combination. That's such a great attribute. Kind of insane. So we're taking out all these little parts of the base rather easily. Done. And now this unlocks. We have to fire at the middle, destroy it so fast, and then take on this guy. Just want to use my shotgun. Yeah, I really like the shotgun. And let's use the blaster as well, just to show. Oh, a purple blaster. Nice. Seems to be a turret still shooting at me. Let's use a mine. Or two. Let's see how far they go. Perfect. Alright, so now we get to take all this loot from the base. Oh, we finally got a cargo unit. That's nice. Take a couple more items. Alright, so we could go underneath the base as well. Not inside, but underneath. We're going to go and do that real quick as well. Because I love this little section right here. Because this shows you some of the ways that you can interact with and navigate into interiors of spaces. So we're going to take this take this stuff in our way, and we're just going to move it out of the way. Boom! Get out of here. So now we can weasel our way into this. There's not much, but a couple items. Make us feel like our time's not wasted down here. I'm sure there'll be plenty of secrets where if you spend the time to explore, you will be handsomely rewarded. Alright, let's see if there's more questions you guys have been throwing at us. What if an engine fired bullets to propel you? Oh my goodness, Caden. I see somebody's been playing too much other games. That'd be kind of fun. Well, the actual 3D weapon mounts on the ship look different depending on the weapon this time. They didn't in EVERSPACE 1. They did in EVERSPACE 1, but there wasn't a lot of variety with them. Rest assured, we are looking at different models for EVERSPACE 2. Based on where we're currently at and what we would like to accomplish, I think that's kind of a far off goal of it would be cool if, as opposed to we want to make it happen. Because again, our primary focus is the variety of equipment, missions, story, all of those different things in the game, as opposed to those very little details of like what a weapon specifically looks like on the exterior of your ship. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that we can address. We'll just have to see where time takes us and what our funding looks like. Good question. Seamless planetary loading time, that's the goal. And also planets, you'll be able to fly down into their atmospheres as well, certain areas, because they're handcrafted. That we're not like randomly generating the entire planet. We want to have meaningful space to interact with different elements of the game. So you'll have in-atmo experiences. It'll be a lot of fun. We had some footage. Actually, we've gotten more and more footage of in-atmo. So if you guys have missed that, definitely be look for our GIF jump. GIF dump at Imgur. You can find that on the Discord. You can also find our vlogs. We have a lot of in-atmo that you can see in those elements when we're highlighting other elements of the game. For example, the internal space of the cockpit and the customization you have of that. All of that's actually in Atmo where we showcase it. Let me see. So that's good. Did I miss a question? No, it looks like we're good. Perfect. All right. All right, let's just do a little bit more here, and then we're going to go into the information and answering questions segment. Again, I do want to mention there wasn't too much that happened since last Friday. I mean, it's only Wednesday after all. So we'll have a lot more information drop this Friday. So definitely be sure to stick around and give us a follow over on Twitch, or just keep checking back on YouTube. Subscribe there, of course. You know, all the super generic, go do this, thumbs up, blah, 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 you know, whatever. If you like the content, stick around. I know that you're going to do that if you do. And if you don't, you know, that's totally fine. I'm glad that you gave it a go and you looked at us. You considered your options. And I'm also glad that you're asking questions to figure out if this is the right experience for you. That's ultimately what we want. We want to inform and direct. We're not trying to make this sound like it's so much better than what it actually is. We're pretty proud of where we're at with this so far, and we have a lot of aspirations to make it super great. We want to do that with you guys, and if you want to be along for that process, check out that Kickstarter. Find a tier that's right for you and dive on in. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's see what else we got. Let's go ahead and sell this stuff. See how many credits we can get. And then we will go ahead and dive into some questions. It'll be good. And I also want to address some important questions that have already been asked through the course of the stream that are kind of hot questions right now, just so that everybody who is joining us now has all the information that they're looking for and everything in between. Okay, so let's go into Rockfish news segment. I need to prepare it. One moment, please. But I really do appreciate all of you coming out here and hanging out with us today. Seriously, like this is a wonderful time for us to be able to just talk about where we're at with development, and you guys being able to show your support and having a conversation with us. This is a really big deal. We're really glad that you guys come out to these events, these streams, just to chat and see where things are going. All right, so let's look at some details. Whoop. So, in our Kickstarter, as of right now, we are exactly at 60%. We have just reached that today. Things are still slowly building up. We are looking forward to it. We have 4,643 backers out there, so thank you so much for your support. It's really appreciated. We got 12 days to go, just a little under 2 weeks. Look at that. It's even growing even as we're talking here. Some of you guys sneaking in a tier option or two. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. So let's talk about the first question that a lot of people have already asked, but we're just going to cover it again. What happens if the Kickstarter doesn't succeed? Okay. So first things first, we at Rockfish, we're pretty confident that everything's going to happen the way that it needs to happen. We're not too worried. We hope that you guys aren't worried either. But right now is where we push hard. So if you haven't told your friends and your family and your online forums and everything about EVERSPACE 2 and that you're backing it, that you're supporting it, that you're along the development cycle with us, now is the time to do so. Things are going to get thrown into overdrive. We're going to see these figures growing as much as possible, and that's only possible with your support. So do your part, we'll do ours, we'll make this happen, all right? It'll be good stuff. If the Kickstarter doesn't succeed, that means all of the monies that you would have otherwise submitted, say that you know, a lot of people will go this route of the standard edition. So you pledge $45 US or 40 euros, and the Kickstarter doesn't go through. All that money, it's never even taken out of your account. It's never even extracted from you, okay? Doesn't happen. This is what's called an all or nothing campaign right here. It says all or nothing. That means that it's only funded if it reaches its goal, all right? So that's number one thing to note. You're losing absolutely nothing if the Kickstarter doesn't succeed. The second thing, will EVERSPACE 2 be canceled if the Kickstarter doesn't succeed? Again, I want to clarify this. No, EVERSPACE 2 is not getting canned. We are going to make EVERSPACE 2 whether we get the funding to support all of these enhanced elements of the game or not. We do have the funding behind us to still make that base level game. It's going to be a lot rough around the edges. It's going to not have nearly as much content as is desired through either your guys or our guys. Like our vision is to make this just a very grand experience, and we can do that through your support, through your interaction. Otherwise, it's just going to be a very standard EVERSPACE 2 game that we're going to push and finance ourselves to make it as great as we possibly can without this added support. So that is guaranteed. Like, EVERSPACE 2 will still happen. The elements that are extras over here, like these different pledges, for example, like, let's find one. Get one that's a really impactful one where you're adding content into the game. We'll have, like, you'll help name and design a legendary item in the game, right? So 350 or more tier, right? If you help name and design a legendary item in the game, this would be done after the Kickstarter. So what that means is that if we are not financially backed and you pledged this tier, it means that you could still suggest an idea on our forums and our channels pertaining to what you might have in your mindset and how you want to move forward with that, but it's no longer locked in place and guaranteed. Here, it's guaranteed. If you are supporting us at this tier right now and the Kickstarter is funded, it's a promise. We will make that happen according to how you want to build that out. If it doesn't succeed, if the Kickstarter doesn't go through and you did this tier, you could still provide feedback through development, but there is no guaranteed. Hopefully, everyone's understanding these components. I just want to make sure it's super clear. We want to be super transparent what this all looks like. So those are the main elements of EVERSPACE 2 and what the Kickstarter is going to do if it survives, if it doesn't survive in that process. It also looks like we got some decently healthy donations in the course of just talking about the Kickstarter. My goodness, somebody out there, thank you for that support. Very good. All right, so next thing that we wanted to briefly talk about. So obviously you can see like the little ticker down below. Isn't that just so fancy? It's like our news segment of the stream. Oh gosh. So we are at our funding at 60%. Our update number 5, if you guys missed this, we had just a little segment of behind the scenes talking about lens flares. Michael Bay would be proud. J.J. Abrams on point. All right, so basically what this is just talking about is some of the ways that we've been approaching development in a more healthy and more beautiful way so that the game is even sexier than it was in EVERSPACE 1. So if you haven't read this yet, I'm not gonna read this out loud to you. I respect your intelligence. If you want this, I know you can go to the Kickstarter and read it. I just wanted to talk about some of the details of it. So Marco, who's doing, he's in the development kitchen, as it is called, just wanted to talk a little bit about lens flares and how it's shaping and changing how everything looks inside of EVERSPACE 2. Even from EVERSPACE 1, there's now this secret sauce, as it's called, where you can see in this animated GIF as it's moving back and forth, there's like this hard light versus this soft light filter, I think is what it's called, where when the light source is covered up, instead of it just turning on and off, you'll actually see that it kind of increases and then decreases for a much more polished and much more fluid dynamic between the pixel shader. So I think, yeah, so here you have the soft area lookup, which is now what we are doing, versus the single sample lookup, which just was that very harsh boom, boom, right? So just little details like this. This is what we are pushing ourselves to accomplish to make this game look the best it possibly can. And the more funding that you help us out with, the more likely it is we can put more emphasis on these little details to give it that incredible amount of polish at the end point of development in 2 years' time. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific to talk about with this other than just showing the GIFs, because honestly the GIFs are just, they're delightful. It's pretty transparent in what we're doing, how we're moving forward with it. Let's see. If you guys are interested in more of like the super techie details of our development, let us know, because we would love to add more like behind the scenes features and looks, but we don't know if this is captivating to you or not. So definitely make your voice heard and be like, I want more, or I'd rather see XYZ, you know, whatever. Because we would love to just dive in and share as much as possible. So lens flares, that's a pretty big deal. The last thing was talking about, for any of you who missed it, I do want to dive back into the previous updates of player ships. I think this is a really, really big deal that we revealed on Friday. Because some people, I don't think they realize like the sheer scope we have for playable ships. So let's just talk about this and just cover all of it. You love technical chat, but I might be weird. Hey, that's great. I think we're all a little bit weird, and we just come together and we make incredible stuff, right? So it's good. Just wanted to say you're doing a great job as community ambassador. We'll get there. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. I am trying my best. I just want to make sure that you guys understand where we're at and what we're doing. That's my goal at the end of the day. If you don't know where we're at and what we're doing, then let me know so that I can help clarify that for you. I love you guys. You guys are our lifeblood. Community is so important. So seriously, thanks for all of the fun conversations we have on Discord. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. You're hilarious. Caden, I'm looking at you. I have private chats with some of you guys where it's delightful. Like, so you guys have so much knowledge and skill in these realms. I know that a lot of you are just gamers, and yet your gaming knowledge, I mean, it helps us do so much more just based on a little bit of feedback, like saying, oh, well, you know, like I do video editing on the side and then creating impressive fan videos. LOL, bye. I know that you're out there. Incredible work. So really, you guys make my job super easy. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'll keep giving you all the details. It'll be good. So with the ships, the modular approach, like you're seeing these engines, the wings, the cockpits. We kind of talked about this already. In fact, we did last week, but this is all interchangeable. Look at all of these wings. Actually, hang on a second. We need to make this just a little bit bigger. Hang on a second. I'm gonna pull this up and maximize it. So, I mean, look at all these different wings here, right? Like, these are all just for medium fighters, okay? This is currently what's kind of like envisioned right now, but this could actually, it could technically grow. This could technically grow. I mean, there are a lot of different concepts and ideas with these wings, right? Like, we're seeing all sorts of stuff come out of this. And you'll also see that there's like an apparent look between each one of these areas where you know what type of ship you're still flying. So it was discussed in the vlog, the second vlog, that, like, for example, the Interceptor always uses delta wings. Always uses delta wings. So if you see delta wings on a ship, you know it's an Interceptor. If you see forward wings, like the ones right behind me here, you know it's a Sentinel. If you see the, I always forget what they're called, but they're basically X-wings, right? Like an X-wing. Ha! That's on the assault fighter. Like, that's, you know what type of ship it is based on how the wings are applied to them. But obviously there are tons of different variations of how those end up looking. So lots and lots of stuff that we're really excited to do with the playable ships. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be able to show this off and finally say, like, it's happening. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this vlog again. I know probably a lot of you have already seen this, but it's a delight. Hope you don't mind. We're gonna turn up the volume and we're gonna hit play on this. Here we go.
Hello Space Pilots! Today we'll take a look at the player ships in EVERSPACE 2. In the predecessor we had 3 ships and a 4th one that came with the Encounters expansion. However, being able to fly lots of different ships was high up on your wishlist for our next game. So now we have much grander plans for EVERSPACE 2.
A modular concept enables us to have countless ships with lots of variation. Designs will usually suffer from this approach, but we've taken great care that our ship designs are slick and the modular setup is not too obvious. Each ship class follows certain design rules, which makes them instantly recognizable. The Sentinel, for example, always has forward swept wings, while the Interceptor has delta wings and the Assault Fighter upper and lower wings. The modular concept is also ideal for offering lots of customization. It's easy to change cockpits, bodies, engine parts, wings, colors and decals. Cockpit interiors will also come in different variations. We've just started working on these, so what you see is far from finished. In order to make higher level ships look more powerful and advanced, we're also using different versions of the same type of module. Ships will not only be different in look, but also from a gameplay perspective. They will vary in stats like handling, speed and hit points. Each class will come with a set of special devices, which work like skills in an RPG. In addition to medium ship classes, we will also have light and heavy fighters. These are far from done, but let's have a sneak peek at some of the very early blockouts.
Sneak peek.
Light fighters will be small and agile ships that are ideal for stealthy recon missions and dodging enemy fire. Heavy fighters will be slow but sturdy and have the most firepower. They can dispose of enemies quickly and take quite the punch.
I think our team did a fantastic job here, and now we can have tons of gorgeous player ships in EVERSPACE too. Thanks for watching, see you in space.
There you go. So for those of you who missed it, that's kind of the interaction there. Lots of different ways to go about all of your customization needs for your ship, interchanging your cockpit with your wings, with your engines, and combining all of those, which gives you a very tremendous number of combinations. I didn't do the math, but if we were looking just at one class, one subclass, in fact, has 16 different wings as of right now. So even that could still grow, okay? One class has 16 wings. Even if we had, say, 2 different engines and 2 different cockpits, that alone is what, like 64 different combinations? No, it's even more than that. Like, it's absurd, right? And that's not even taking into consideration your color options and the decal on the side, or the stats that it's modifying and the abilities that you're putting on your ship. Like, you're going to be able to combine and mix and match and go absolutely bonkers with how you want your ship to simply function and look. We really want to do a lot with this, and I hope that you guys understand, like, this isn't something where it's just like, oh, we're just gonna like do a little bit of, like, we're diving full force into this, okay? Oh my gosh. So, we also had this fan video by LOL By. I do encourage you guys to go watch this. It's a delight. I think he's even working on a couple more. And I also want to put this out there too. If you guys are doing any sort of fan-related anythings with EVERSPACE 1 or anything that you're looking forward to with EVERSPACE 2, be it a comic or a cartoon or a video of EVERSPACE 1 or, some sort of skit, a clay model, whatever, let us know about it. We want to show that stuff, okay? Like, we love your interaction with us. It's so much fun. You guys are a blast. Let us hype you up and show your talents and abilities. Please do some stuff for us. And you can do that by going into the Discord. I can actually jump over here to this promo page. It has a little bit of music too, so so here you can go to the Discord at discord.gg. Oh my gosh, that audio though. You can do all the things, interact with us, share all, like, fun stories. Like, we talk about EVERSPACE and EVERSPACE 2. We talk about other games. It doesn't matter, but share the stuff that you love. That's really what we are down for, and have a conversation with us. You can also follow us on Twitter at Rockfish Games and at EVERSPACE_game. And obviously the Kickstarter links, the very last one there, bit.ly/ES2KS. Oh, I actually had that backwards before. Whoops, but that's fine. So, good stuff. So, that's kind of the big things that we kind of went over last Friday into this week. We will have more to talk about on Friday. Michael, I want to confirm with you before anything else, but I'm pretty confident that we're going over the environments this Friday. If you are in the stream still, let me know. But I'm pretty certain that that's where we're diving into next. So if you desire to see more about what we're doing in the spatial environment as a whole with EVERSPACE 2, definitely be looking forward to this Friday. We'll have more to show, more to talk about. It'll be a good time. So these last couple of minutes, I just wanted to have some conversation with you. Let's answer some questions. Let's get it out there, and let's just let's end the stream on a high. All right, it's good. Let's see. Will there be a random mode? Asked Brett Out from YouTube. That randomizes key locations on star map, causing planets to appear under different stars each new game. So it sounds like you really love roguelikes. Dude, I love roguelikes too. So, I don't want to reveal too much about what we are designing for late game situations, But what I will say is that if you're a roguelike enthusiast and you like a challenge, I think the late game is going to satisfy you quite a lot. There are a lot of different missions that will have randomized locations that you have to go to and complete tasks in. And what better way to search for loot than various locations that you've never explored before? So definitely looking into a lot of different ways to make that active and powerful. So good question. Good question. Let's see. HOTAS support. I do believe that Michael answered this already, but just so everybody is aware, yes, we are pursuing HOTAS support in EVERSPACE 2. We've learned a lot through our processes in EVERSPACE 1, so it should even be a little bit easier to set up and polish to your liking. Perfect. We're also doing track IR support again, as you know, pushing that narrative forward to make it as better and best as possible as well. Anyone who is looking at VR, if you're the ones out there going, man, I really loved that experience of EVERSPACE 1, or even the ones who said, I really didn't like it, are you guys going to do it again? Is it going to be better? Well, so we are looking at a lot of different options for VR support. As of right now, it's really hard to say we're going to do it or not. If we do end up doing VR support, we're going to give it the time and the attention that it deserves as a separate application. So instead of it being tacked onto the game as a kind of bonus to owning the game, you get VR. Instead, it would be a separate entity that we can focus in on, make it the absolute best thing it can possibly be. Okay? If we do VR. So no guarantees as of right now. That's just what we're looking at. A great question, though. A really, really great question. Let's see what else we got. Cockpit plus wings plus engine equals unlimited variation, hopefully. That's the goal. And we didn't even talk about colors yet. Colors should make it a lot better, too. Will any of the original soundtrack from the first game be included in EVERSPACE 2? That's a good question. Giho? Are you out there? I think that we are looking for a unique, new, original soundtrack for EVERSPACE 2. I know that we're pretty happy in studio with like what we created with EVERSPACE 1, and we're taking that and we're like moving forward into a little bit of a new genre of music. In fact, I'm sure you've heard a little bit of that variation already from the demo. But there's also some elements that are strangely nostalgic. And I think that you'll experience that as well. Let's see what else we got out there. Maurice or Riot? Oh man, I hope Maurice isn't too distracted with his mobile gaming. Oh, that would be so sad if he didn't make a return as well. Can't wait for more NPCs. I liked the weird alien doctor. My boy Throng? Oh man, Throng was so great. Maester Throng. Yeah, I'm sure that we will be doing as much as possible to bring back the characters that people really loved, those lasting experiences, those interactions from EVERSPACE 1. I know that it's something that, we've really established a lore-driven world with a lot of characters that are playful and fun, and we absolutely want to take that and build up upon that. We also don't want to get too crazy, right? We don't want to we wouldn't want to have characters like you always have to deal with, because the more you kind of interact with certain characters, the less satisfying they end up becoming, it seems like. It's just in a story-driven elements. But rest assured, we'll definitely be bringing life back into elements of importance from EVERSPACE 1 into EVERSPACE 2. And we haven't even started talking about the story progression of the main character, who, oh my gosh, if you guys haven't finished the story of EVERSPACE 1, get on that, because I don't want to spoil anything for you as we move into EVERSPACE 2, but it is a continuation. It is absolutely a continuation, and stuff goes down. It's delightful. Let's see, what else we got? All right. Any plans for pets? I don't think currently. No, I don't think there's any plans for pets. There's one guy who got caught and was sold as a pet, and that kind of sucked. But I think we'll We'll see more about what happens to that in the future. Cockpit bobbleheads, says Geekbite. Dude, that'd be amazing. I think that would be so great. Right, Michael with the beard bobblehead. Oh my gosh. Are we stuck being a boy again? Asks Koratora. The character that you are playing as happens to be male, and it is a continuation of that story. He does not randomly change gender, so yes, you will be playing a boy again. Yes. Will Hive be there to talk to you about random things? This is information that I cannot give further information about, but you've possibly noticed that in the demo, we do not hear the Hive talking to us. There's a lot that happens between the events of EVERSPACE 1 and EVERSPACE 2, so that doesn't mean I'm saying he's not there, but I also can't really say that he is. More information will come out in the future about beloved characters like Hive. Let's see. I'm going to answer like 2 more questions and then I gotta go. Will there be space lounges with generated persons providing missions and trades? Oh, yeah! Absolutely, Tanver Ahmed. Absolutely. Like Galaxy on Fire 2. Oh, yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. What am I drinking? Water. I drink so much water. I am a fiend of water. Not too random of a question. It's good. We need more Hive. Hey, I don't disagree. You missed a question from me about equipment. Oh, all right. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see. Any plans to level items up the longer you keep them equipped? So a legendary item could be valid longer or more powers unlock on items. Great question. So pertaining to, and this is my last question that I'm going to be answering. So if you didn't get your question answered, join the Discord, come back to the stream on Friday and ask then. I promise you we will answer. I'm not holding back anything, guys. I'm not trying to avoid your questions. Just be diligent and be patient with us. We'll get to all of those. So, pertaining to items and leveling up, I think that it would suck in a looting game where you are collecting tons of different things and you find stuff that is actually worthless. Like it's too low level, or the equipment that you have isn't getting any better, or, you know, X, Y, and Z just is meaningless, right? We don't want to do that. We want to try and make an impact with all of the content that's generated into the game. As such, there are absolutely going to be abilities to take and transform content that you've already gained and make it better. Now, we don't know specifically what that looks like, and in fact, a lot of those details, we might even be working with you, the community, on shaping and transforming that experience through the course of development. So if you've got ideas and examples of games that you really love, like Borderlands or Destiny or Diablo, and you're like, I like this system because, join the Discord, have a conversation with us, get invested, get involved. We would love to chat, figure out what our best options would be. But yeah, we don't want it to be, we absolutely don't want your loot to just fizzle out and die, especially if you really like it. That would suck. That would really suck. So, a lot of opportunities ahead of us. Good question. All right, guys, that is it. I'm actually 5 minutes over stream. My wife is going to kill me. Oh my gosh. But you guys have seriously been great. Honestly, you guys are amazing. I love you dearly. It's really good stuff. Oh, whoops. I forgot to transfer over like that first. Ha! But you guys have been amazing. I have been Eric Schrader, Community Ambassador for Rockfish Games, for you guys, the outstanding community that's given us so much love and support. We want to make this game alongside you. If you are dedicated to the task, by all means, join the Kickstarter. Be a part of this development process. And we will be back streaming on Friday. Same time. We go from 1 to 3 Central Standard Time Zone for you guys. And we'll have more information to show and talk about from there. And otherwise, I'll be catching you in the Discord. And I'll talk to you later. So, toodles!